Let's dive right in. Today, we are tackling a huge question, one that so many of us wrestle with. What does it actually mean to be successful? We're going to explore that gap between what society tells us we should want and what truly brings us a sense of fulfillment. And our journey today starts with a story that might just hit a little too close to home. So, I want you to meet Sarah. She's 42 years old, she's got the corner office, the six-figure salary, the whole package. I mean, by every single external metric, she has made it. But this feeling, this unsettling emptiness right at the peak of what's supposed to be success, that feeling is what we're going to unpack today. You see, Sarah's story isn't just one person's story. It's really a symbol for a feeling that is so widespread. So many women follow the path they're told to, they tick all the right boxes, only to get to the finish line and have this sinking feeling of, wait, this isn't where I wanted to be. And that right there, that is the success trap. That deep, gut-wrenching misalignment between the life you've built and the person you know you are inside. For Sarah, her wake-up call came from an old, dusty journal. And as she was flipping through these pages, it all came rushing back. She realized she had spent decades chasing a version of success that wasn't even hers. It belonged to her company, to society, to all these expectations she just absorbed without even realizing it. The woman who dreamed of building community gardens and teaching art, well, she got lost somewhere on that corporate ladder. She had literally forgotten her own dreams. Now, it's really important to understand this isn't some kind of personal failing on her part. It's the result of a system, a really complex web of pressures we can call the architecture of expectation. You know, historically, women's roles were pretty clearly defined. But here's the crazy part. Instead of replacing those old expectations with new ones, our culture just piled the new ones right on top. So now the modern woman is often expected to do it all, have it all, and be it all, perfectly. And this whole situation forces women to walk this impossible psychological tightrope. We're told, be assertive, be ambitious, but in the next breath, it's, whoa, don't be aggressive or selfish, or be nurturing and communal, but also don't you dare appear weak or incompetent. It is a classic catch-22, what researchers call the double bind. These conflicting demands create this incredible stress, a state known as role strain, because you are literally being set up to fail no matter what you do. And this pressure cooker isn't just happening at work. Oh no, it's a battle on multiple fronts. Society hands us this rigid checklist. What's your job title? What's your relationship status? Are you a mother? And are you doing it the right way? How do you look? And of course, are you likable? It's like being in a constant, never-ending performance review for every single aspect of your entire life. It's exhausting. The psychological toll of all this is just immense, and one of the most common outcomes is imposter syndrome. Now, this hits high-achieving women particularly hard, and you have to ask why. Well, when you are constantly being slammed with contradictory messages and impossible standards, you can't help but start to internalize this idea that your success must be some kind of accident or a fluke or just pure luck, anything but the result of your actual hard-earned competence. Okay, so we've laid out the problem, and it's a lot, I know, but here's the good news. What if we could build a whole new framework for success? We can. And this isn't just about coping with the pressure. No, this is about fundamentally changing the rules of the game so that it's actually designed for our own well-being. To get there, we can turn to this really powerful psychological framework called self-determination theory. And what's so brilliant about it is how simple it is. It basically argues that real, lasting fulfillment, that feeling we're all searching for, it doesn't come from external rewards like money or status. Nope, it comes from satisfying three core universal psychological needs. This right here, this is the key to understanding why that corner office can feel so empty. And here they are, those three core needs. First, there's autonomy, the need to feel like you are the author of your own life, that your choices are your own. Then, competence, that feeling of being effective and capable, being good at what you do. And finally, relatedness, the need for real, genuine connection with other people. So here's the crucial point. When you are chasing a definition of success that someone else wrote for you, you are fundamentally violating your own deep-seated need for autonomy. And it doesn't matter how competent you are or how many people you know. So how do we actually put this into practice? It's time to shift from theory to action. This next part is your toolkit. I'm going to walk you through a few really practical techniques that you can use to start your own journey of redefinition right now. The very first tool in our kit starts with this incredibly powerful question. Before you can build a new life, you gotta have a blueprint, right? This is all about excavating your authentic priorities from underneath a lifetime of shoulds. This is the whole point of our first exercise, the values inventory. And the process for this is actually pretty straightforward. First, you just let your mind go and brainstorm every single value that resonates with you. Could be creativity, adventure, security, community, anything that comes to mind. Then comes the tricky part. You have to narrow it down first to your top 10 and then to your absolute core 3 to 5. But the final step, that's the most revealing. You rate how well your actual day-to-day life aligns with those core values. And that gap you might find, that's your starting point. That's where the real work begins. Okay, our second tool is called the eulogy exercise. And while it sounds a little morbid, it is a profound perspective shifter. It asks you to look at your life from the very end. And when you do that, something amazing happens. All the day-to-day pressures, the quarterly reports, the superficial metrics, they just fall away. You're left with what truly makes a life meaningful. Are people talking about your job title? Or are they talking about your kindness, your impact, the person you were? This reveals your true legacy. This third tool, which comes from the amazing researcher Brené Brown, is so simple but so powerful. We all carry around these unwritten, unspoken rules about what we're allowed to do or want. Writing yourself a permission slip makes those invisible rules visible, and it gives you the authority to break them. The simple physical act of writing, "I give myself permission to not have a perfect home," externalizes that pressure and helps you reclaim your own agency. Now, you might be thinking that this whole journey of redefinition is a very personal, internal thing. And it is, but its impact is so much bigger than just one person. When one woman makes the brave choice to live an authentic life, it doesn't just change her world. It sends out ripples that can change the world around her. And that ripple effect is so powerful. Just think about it. First, you start modeling new possibilities. You show other women that a different way of living is actually possible. Second, your choices begin to challenge the old broken systems. When enough talented women say no to a toxic work culture, that culture is eventually forced to change. And finally, and maybe this is the most important one, you transform the next generation. You show your children, especially your daughters, that their worth is not defined by some pre-written, outdated script. So, if there is one single thing to take away from all of this, let it be this. This entire process is about reclaiming your authority. It's about firing that external committee that's been running your life. It is about recognizing that you, and only you, are the expert on what a successful life looks like for you. It's time to start trusting that internal compass of yours. And so I want to leave you with this final thought to really chew on. Take a moment and really consider it. All those shoulds, they're like a cage built out of other people's expectations. But what happens when you find the key and you decide to open the door? Who could you become then? The possibilities, they're truly infinite. Thanks for joining me.